Welcome to the Knoy Church Podcast. We're glad that you're interested in connecting through this teaching time. If you'd like to connect further, feel free to reach out to us through our website, knoychurch.org. For now, enjoy this teaching from Knoy Church, where our mission is to lead people into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ.
Hello, Knoy family. The devotional for this week comes from a reflection on the 13th Psalm. Let me read it real quick to you. It says, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death, and my enemy will say, I have overcome him. My enemies will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me." This has been a hard time for a lot of people. For some, there has been tragic loss, unimaginable loss, so deep that it's actually torn their sense of reality and meaning. For others, there's arisen a deep-seated anxiety and frustration at what's going on in the world right now. But what holds us all in common is the instability of the times. It's been hard to know what's right. It's been hard to know what's real. It's been hard to know what's good and beautiful and true. And this sort of thing is hard. It often leads to a wounded faith, a doubt or a shakiness that arises when you look at your life and then back at the truths you confess and feel like they don't reflect one another. What you see instead is this despairing incongruity, a kind of life that suggests the absence of God. Is that bad? Is that wrong? Is that a sign of poor faith or functional atheism? And if it's not, what do we do though? How are we to deal with these kind of feelings? The psalm gives a suggestion. Actually, the psalm itself is the suggestion. Lament. Lament to God. Cry out to him in honesty. That's what it means to lament. To lean into your deepest pain and groan out this guttural cry, why? That's how the psalm starts, with demanding questions, those that bear honest witness to the psalmist's deep pain. How long, Lord? How long, Lord? How long, Lord? The psalmist is unabashedly real, refusing to muster up a brave smile to turn tragedy into something falsely optimistic. The psalmist is courageous enough to hold his bloody, doubting heart before God and ask the hard questions. What could be a more faithful response than that? It's natural to lament. It's natural to doubt. And so we don't need to fear either. If this psalm, which is riddled with doubt and pain and brutal honesty, all things we're taught are bad, if this psalm is riddled with those things and yet still made it into the Christian canon, which means we believe God inspired it through the Holy Spirit, then that means God has given us authoritative permission to struggle and to feel terrible things and name them as terrible. Jesus models this for us on Gethsemane and Golgotha. He groaned out in deep pain, and what we saw was deep struggle in him. Let me tell you what this means. It means that it's not wrong to lament. That's not even to say it's good, but it's sometimes the only appropriate response to deep human suffering is to lament, to ask the question, why? How long, Lord? How long? So, lamenting is not a sign of feeble faith. It's not a marker of spiritual inferiority. It's the opposite. Lamenting is one of the most courageous forms of faith. The psalmist asks, how long? Not why can't I just believe more? I'm trying to say the psalmist believes in the promises of God so deeply, so unreservedly, that he cannot help but trust God with the truth of his heart, which says, I'm hurting right now and I need you. Please come. In my opinion, this lament is simply the psalmist's worship. It simply is his worship in this moment, the only form of worship in which he can honestly participate. Nothing else can hold in tension belief in the promises of God and deep, deep suffering like a lament can. That's why the psalmist can start with a despairing how, and yet end the psalm, the same psalm, with a faith-filled, hope-infused but. He says, how long? How long? How long, Lord? And yet can still say, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. It's a beautiful invitation, and it sets us free to be true to our hearts. If we are hurting, if we have experienced loss, then we can carry that before God. And we can groan out with the questions why, with the questions how long, with the questions to what end, and for what reason. Our God is a big God, and his love is flexible enough to hold in tension what might seem like our doubt on the surface, and yet our hope-infused yearnings for something better, for something new, for something that reflects the gospel promises and the kingdom, which Jesus has taught us of. Let that be a liberating word for you today, and dwell on the psalm itself. Dig into that and uncover this idea of lamenting for yourself. Thanks, guys.
Hi, this is Pastor Nick. Thanks for listening. I hope something that you heard today was very helpful. If you want to connect with us further, feel free to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or our website, kanoichurch.org. Sure, I'm glad we're in this together.